Well, it looks like we are live on Facebook. So, welcome, Soul Chat viewers, to our podcast number 6 with our special guest, Ashley Sanders, tonight. So, thanks for joining me, Ashley.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of my favorite people of all times. Always. Anyway, I'm going to start out really by telling everyone how I kind of met you or what I remember of that, because I have one of the worst memories around. I am going to pull this up just on Facebook so I can see comments. Hey, everybody. Good to see you. Just remember, if you don't allow StreamYard to give us your name, I might not know who it is commenting, but I do have the Facebook app open on my phone as well. Hello, hello. Good to see everybody. So when Sacred Soul moved over to Spearfish from Belfouche, we went into the chiropractic building just when you come into town there. And my neighbor across the hall happened to be the amazing Ashley, who at that time was doing massage therapy and is phenomenal at it. So I believe that the way that we met was really kind of through the stores and being across the hall from each other, and kind of building a friendship there, which I have thoroughly enjoyed. And then, of course, Sacred Soul moved closer to downtown, and then there was a whole string of events that happened for you.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that a little bit later, but really, why don't you give our viewers kind of an idea of your background, where you grew up, what life is currently like for you?
Yeah, of course. So I grew up in Riverton, Wyoming, and was there until I was about 14. And then that's kind of when things started to shift. And to just touch into some astrology, those as 7-year cycles, right? So this would be my second one in my life. My parents divorced, and I moved to Sheridan, Wyoming, and kind of went back and forth there from Sheridan to actually Vernal, Utah, and kind of bounced back and forth there through my high school years, and ended up graduating in Sheridan, and then spent the next 10 years really in Lander, Wyoming. That's just near Riverton. And that Lander kind of has my heart because we spent a lot of time actually over there in the mountains and rock climbing and doing a lot of outdoor activities, which I still love in my life now. And I got married, and I had a baby who just turned 11. She's not a baby. Fiona is my daughter. Unfortunately, that marriage ended, but I feel like for the best. Another one of those cycles that I was just talking about, big rebirth process, but it was it's a very transformational time. And I met my partner now shortly after that, Brandon, and we've been, pretty much inseparable for the last, I think we're at 7 years too. Look at all these 7-year cycles.
Nice. And I have to say, he's one of the nicest guys because I've had the pleasure of meeting him. So
yeah, he is. And he's been definitely a rock in my life and supportive of all of my adventures. I like keep it real interesting. And then we didn't plan on having children, but we actually just were given. We just had my son Quinn. He just turned a year old, and so yeah. And here I am. I've been here in Spearfish for 6 years. So
cool. And your children are beautiful, but Quinn is a little firecracker. He cracks me up.
That is like, I don't know if there's an English word for Quinn, because he came into the world with a punch. So,
Well, so you were doing massage therapy there in that building where I was at until I left. And then, of course, you got pregnant. And
yep.
tell us kind of about your little hiatus there for a little bit.
Yeah, well, I think and to go back even just a little bit, I think in some of our conversations that I was just kind of really feeling a bit of a pull of like needing a change, like something wasn't, fulfilling. And I'd kind of been asking for, an opportunity for something else, or to, step out to reevaluate where I'm at. But when you're in a practice like that, as having clients, like you step out and, you lose business and clients and things. So I just wanted to be real practical. But when I got pregnant with Quinn, I got carpal tunnel, and the pregnancy induced carpal tunnel, which left me not being able to work. I was forced to stop working. And then that just kind of opened up some space to just really slow down and reevaluate what I was doing, who I was. I mean, you've had children, that in that pregnancy too, you're undergoing a deep transformation to prepare for this baby coming. And so, yeah, that just left me in a space where I had some time to study things. I started studying astrology actually a little bit before that, but just kind of opened up some space to study some of that, and really kind of expanding into of different things that were just kind of pulling, that I just wanted to see. I'm constantly interested in learning anymore. And so this is where Brandon thinks that I really keep things interesting and keep him on his toes, because I am all over the place sometimes. Choose something, and I'm like, what? I'm going to do all the things.
Which I think you can do all of the things.
Right?
Yes, absolutely. So I want to give people kind of my take and perspective on you, just as a person, because I know when I've had massages with you previously, your intuition is very strong. It's very spot on. I know as you would work with your clients, you would feel their needs and energy, and the flow of energy that comes from you in massage is just, it's hard to explain. It doesn't break. It's like the flow goes, and it's amazing. But I'm excited to see you move into some other things in life, because your talents are many. But I've also had the pleasure with kind of working with you a little bit too, and I see how connected you are to spirit guides and people on the other side. And I look forward to seeing where that kind of takes you as well, but also the astrology part. Yeah. So with that being said, though, like you being so in tune with energy, when do you think you realized that or knew that you had that connection?
I think that I had always thought about it. I knew it existed. My grandmother was a massage therapist, and so these were conversations that were had. I lived with her for a little while, and so these things weren't like uncommon to be talked about within my family. And so I knew that there was a certain amount of power that lies in touch, especially intentional touch. But I don't think that I really actually felt it and like recognized what it was until I was probably a good year and a half into doing massage full time. And it was really powerful. I remember coming home and being like, what happened? What was that? You know, like, did I do that? Like, did they do that? Like, who's doing it? You know? And then it just became kind of a learning curve, you know, that I would just kind of mess around, especially with people that I was comfortable with and could have a conversation about it with, you know.
Yeah.
I had conversations with you as I was trying to like figure out these things that were happening and the things that I was seeing and the things that I was feeling. And I think eventually you just start to realize what is you and what isn't you, and trusting that whatever's happening is, you know, the alchemy between you and the client, you know. So yeah.
Absolutely. I love hearing your kids in the background.
I know you might, Quinn's on a walk with his dad, but I could probably guarantee you're going to hear him when he comes
I love it. I love it. Well, that's just part of the reality of life, right?
This is my life.
Yes. Yeah. And I will tell everybody, as you're watching, if you have any questions for Ashley as well, feel free to pop them in the comments there. So kind of you took this year hiatus, not hiatus, but really focused on being a mom and being home and being there for your family, which was probably an amazing experience to be able to do that, because not everyone gets that opportunity.
Definitely.
And to regroup and see where the future is taking you.
Yeah, well, and I think it's all in, you know, we talk a lot about like divine timing, right? Of like, I needed that time to recuperate the energy that I had put into things and not recognize that there wasn't a lot of reciprocity, maybe, you know, navigating some of that. And so I think that it was just a good time to tune back in on more of an internal dialogue, while also getting to care for my family, because that's always first for me. And yeah, I think that it left me sometimes in a little bit of discomfort of wondering what I was going to do when it was time, or what it was going to look like, because some of the things that I've been learning, it's not like a cut and dry, like I'm going to show up at 8 and this is what we're going to do. You know, I've just kind of like blended a bunch of things together that make sense to me, and we'll see.
You know, what I love about that statement, though, and everybody should hear this, is I always tell people that the best shamans, and a shaman is just a healer, another term for healer, make the tool bag of their own. They don't follow one path or someone's teaching. They gather the tools that they have to make their healing path their own. So what you just said describes how I feel in my heart about a true healer. So I love that about you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Well, I think that's where it comes from. You know, it's like your own kind of knowing and your own wisdom and your own experiences that you've had in your own life, you know, and kind of then wrapping that around things that you're learning, and, you know, the toolkits, and then, you know, like just seeing what happens, because just like you or I or anyone else, you know, nobody's life is like cut and dry, you know, like this is what we do and this is how it is, you know. And so not being able to feed into those gray areas, I think, you know, is silly.
Yeah.
I think that's actually the space that maybe needs the most attention sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gray areas.
Absolutely. So kind of talking a little bit about, I want to share a couple of experiences I've had with you kind of recently. And then you can kind of tell us the different things that you're kind of involved in and doing. Okay. I know that your business, Rise Astrology and Alchemy, is kind of the focus of where you're going. You can tell us a little bit about that in a minute. But as you kind of started to get back into things after your break, you started to offer some full moon hikes. And I had the pleasure of joining you on one of those, which was phenomenal, you guys. If Ashley does any more of these, you absolutely have to go. I was really hesitant because oops, make sure I keep this open here. Because I didn't know anybody that was going except you, of course. And also, I am not in the best of shape. That's very apparent, obviously.
She did awesome.
I acted
Don't
like
let her fool you.
But honestly, it was such a beautiful experience. And you are such a phenomenal leader. Your energy is so calming and comforting. So first and foremost, that. But anything you do, I enjoy, because then I also attended one of your yoga sessions at Spearfish Yoga. Is that right?
Yep.
And you led a more restorative, or is it yin yoga maybe?
Yep, yin yoga.
Session, which in my explanation was minimal poses with lots of meditation and lots of feeling. And oh my gosh, I could go to one of those every day with you, because it was fantastic. And I don't know if those are things that you're continuing, but tell us kind of what kind of events you have available that people could find interest in.
Yeah, so to start, the full moon hike was kind of just like random, a thought. And because I've been doing full moon circles monthly at Inner Voice Studios. That's downtown. You should check that out. And we are continuing to do that. Like, it's every full moon. You can check out my page. I have all of those things listed on my website as well. And speaking of yin yoga, I didn't teach all summer because we were just kind of busy, and I filled in on a few classes. But I am teaching a yin yoga class this Sunday, actually at 4:00 at Spearfish Yoga. And we'll continue to try to do one of those monthly as well. Yin yoga is my favorite to teach because I get to move through it, just as you said, and feel it myself. Like I can feel and navigate those things because we're just moving a little bit slowly, and it feels like there's enough time to like really settle into yourself and think about those things and meditate in, right? I also am hosting a retreat this October in the Black Hills. It's a women's weekend retreat. I'm so excited for it. There's lots of ideas around just kind of reclaiming your power and getting back into ourselves. And otherwise, next year, there's some things on the calendar, but right now that's where we're at. So
amazing. I have to tell everybody too, if I didn't have plans the weekend that you were doing your retreat, I would so be there. And I'm really bummed that I can't make it this Sunday because I'm teaching in class. But
you're doing your medium, is that this Sunday, your mediumship class? Awesome. It's such a good class, you guys. I did it.
Yes.
It's worth it.
It's very intimate. The in-person class is just a few people. So I want to say this though, for those of you that are intimidated by yoga, because again, I am not physically fit. It is not I'm not perfected in yoga by any means. And I've studied some and I still don't know enough, but Ashley makes a very comfortable room. She explains things in terms that you will understand, and also tells you there's leeway. Like if your body doesn't do this, you adjust. And very supportive, very comforting class. So if you get a chance, definitely. And yes, I will be at one of your full moon circles. I'm actually going to meet with Kat tomorrow.
Yes, I was hoping you guys were going to connect. I've been telling her. I am so happy.
Yes.
Yay.
So hopefully, we'll get to see the studio tomorrow, and I'm sure I'll attend one of your full moon circles soon. But
Awesome.
we have a question from Jamie. It says, when you're together, does your energy, psychic, mediumship abilities feed each other, for lack of a better way to phrase it?
Possibly. I will tell you that it's like she hears me sometimes. And I haven't talked to her. Just for example, tonight, like I was thinking, I was eating dinner with my family, and I'm like, I wonder where she's going to send that link to tonight for me to jump on there. And like a minute later, she texted me and was like, I'll send the link. Da, 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 da. And I was like, okay.
I think when there are very high vibrational spiritual people together, I don't know that you necessarily feed off each other, but I feel like you feel each other's energy, and it's like, I can only describe it as like an old friend. Like even from the minute I met Ashley, it was like an old friend, like I was coming home.
Yeah.
And like hugging a person that's so spiritually gifted and in tune is like the best thing in the world. And you just feel so at home there. And I do think probably our energies are amplified when we're together, because we both exhibit more of a high vibrational energy most of the time. So
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. Yeah, there's something comforting and I don't know. I don't know about you, Dani, but a lot of times in my life I felt very different and sometimes isolated. And so now that I'm older and I can see myself or whatever, it feels so nice to be with and have conversation with someone that you don't have to explain yourself, or they're not like, what is this lady talking about?
yeah.
Let me check in. So
Yes, we can talk about those things that most people don't talk about, and they feel very comfortable. Like, it's just very normal. Totally. Gail asked, what is your website? I'm going to put
it's ariseastrology.com. Cut and simple.
I'm going to have to post it on here.
Yeah, I was wondering if you could maybe type it in.
Yep, ariseastrology.com. Got to type astrology correctly.
I'm still kind of working out some kinks on there, but you will be able to see events and maybe some of the offerings that are coming very soon. I'm just still kind of working out some details.
And if any of the locals want to attend one of her full moon circles and yoga sessions, and you don't want to go alone, reach out to me or Brooke, because we will probably go with you if the time allows. And my struggle is not being able to remember when something is. So I have to get ahead of the game and get on your website and put it on my calendar.
I know. I'll text you.
I was going to say, sometimes when you text me, I love that, because I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, yes.
You're coming?
Yes. Absolutely. I wanted to ask this question, and maybe you won't be able to tell us off the top of your head the most impactful, but most people who've had a spiritual awakening or a spiritual journey have some moment that was really pivotal for them, or just super profound, where something was so clear, and sometimes it wasn't always good. And honestly, if I were to think back on my path, it would probably take me a minute to think of it. But if there's something that stands out to you that was really profound for you on your spiritual journey, what do you think that would be?
I don't know if it came down to one moment. I think that really stepping into myself has really been about kind of pulling back layers and layers at a time. I think that since I was young, there's always been this kind of deep knowing. So I think that I always knew that something was there and felt really kind of connected. But, you grow and you're conditioned certain ways and whatever. So, I mean, and here we are again in those 7-year cycles. I think that each one of my cycles was, there were situations that happened that, would redirect me. I mean, one would be that my grandmother, who I talked about earlier, passed away. And that was kind of sudden. And she was really kind of my foundation of, I mean, what I would say is a lot of who I am today. And so that was very hard to deal with. And so that kind of put me in a tailspin of making bad choices and not taking care of myself, and kind of like a big fu to the world and to God, and like that I was mad and I didn't care. And I ended up in spaces that left me finding a deeper compassion for myself, and for the people around me. And some of those were really hard lessons. And then I would say that the next 7-year cycle was my divorce, and kind of resituating and reevaluating my life as a mother, as a woman, and that was kind of the kickoff of really chasing my dreams, because I think that I had kind of settled in my work and things and such. And so that was kind of the redirect to really step into where I was supposed to be, and that really kind of answering the call inside, and really stepping in to be able to find a space to use the compassion that I had collected and learned, and the empathy, and actually be of service, so.
Very cool. I think the spiritual path and lessons are just a constant, yeah.
Yeah, well, you just like keep evolving, right? Like it's like you just keep kind of, I mean, I think in my thoughts about it, like you keep kind of shedding the ego and recognizing that there's a much bigger picture, right? Like this is not just about you and how your world spins, right? So, yeah.
So the death card, or the serpent, the snake, the constant
The
letting
snake
go.
all week. Oh God.
So Gail asked about a moonwalk. So a moon hike, I'm sure, is what she's referring to. But you're mostly doing the full moon circles now indoors, right?
Yeah, we've just transitioned into the inside. This is kind of in collaboration. It's something that I wanted to do, but I also love Kat, and I love her space, and it just works out really nice. And I think it's a comfortable spot to gather and have community. And so we're just going to hang there. We might throw out some different ideas, but it's a little different every time. I really try to follow with the archetype of the month and do something a little different. But I think that next summer you could probably expect full moon hikes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So tell everybody what drew you into astrology.
Oh God, I don't know. I myself got an astrology reading, and backtracking to, we were talking about me doing massage, but I was like kind of feeling like something else was pulling. This was all that kind of 2020 time, like where everybody was like held up, and to stop and like reevaluate what we were doing, right? And how we were doing it. And she kind of kept talking about astrology and like, you know, mentioning it. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm into astrology, but like, I don't, what? Like, I wasn't going, I'm like, I want to be outside. Like, I'm moving towards herbalism and an apothecary. Like, what are you talking about, lady? And I swear to you, a couple months later, it was like, you know how those Facebook things like stalk you and they just keep coming back and they're listening to you and you're like, how did they know? Did they hear her? Like, and it was like one of those things deep inside again that I literally waited till the last day to sign up because I was like, I'm not sure. But inside it was like, this is absolutely the way you are supposed to go. Like, stop fighting it, you know? And so committed. And I felt like the first day there was something so fulfilling to hear some of the things that were talked about and the connections that were made. It was like, you know, if you've been like holding your breath for a really long time and then you just like have that, you know, and learning it will be a lifelong journey. So that's good for my brain and all the things that I want, because you just never will know it all. And I like that. That feels really interesting for me. So
Yeah, that's cool. And I think you're absolutely phenomenal and you're going to do great at whatever you choose in the future. And it may continue to change for you like it does for most people.
yep.
Steph,
Like to keep it real.
right? Steph asked a good question. She said, thank you for talking about conditioning. What helped you the most to combat the conditioning and figure out when you were getting the call? It's hard to hear when we're surrounded by the conditioning.
Well, for me, honestly, in the beginning, like I said, it was a lot of hard lessons. It was a lot of in your face things. But as of like right now, I feel like a lot of people are talking about it, right? Like this has been an open conversation the last couple of years of talking about how, especially as a woman, we have been conditioned to be a certain way and look a certain way and feel a certain way, or actually not feel at all. That too, right? And that our menstrual cycle should be a secret. You know, like there's just so many things that have been going on for centuries, right? Yes. But I think it's just recognizing within yourself when enough is enough, right? You get to a point where you're like, no, I'm actually not doing this anymore. That doesn't feel good or authentic to who I am and how I show up, you know? So I think in navigating that is to be very honest with yourself, in recognizing maybe family values, how you've been raised is maybe a really great place to start, because that's intimate, and can show you a lot of where your insecurities lie, and help you start working on, I think, self-love. I think that's the first part, right? The self-love is like really turning inside and loving yourself, accepting yourself, and just being able to show up and 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 take accountability for your own bullshit. Excuse my language.
No,
You know.
I mean, I think you said that beautifully. That you hit everything. That was, I mean, exactly what we all needed to hear, but I'm sure exactly what Steph needed to hear. I have to, just because you're talking about women's conditioning. So in the sanctuary group that I teach in, it's our women's group. We're reading The Women Who Run with the Wolves right now.
Oh, I love Clarissa.
Have you read this book?
I have it on my audiobook, but I feel like it's one of those things like I constantly have like 5 books going at once. It's really healthy.
Well, we're doing a book study on this in the sanctuary right now.
Oh,
for anyone who's watching, this will make you very aware of how women have been conditioned to live in a box and let go of their wild roots and be a good girl. Really, really good. It's kind of a poetic book, so it's really hard for me to read because that's not how my brain works. I feel like they say a whole bunch of things when they could have just said one sentence, and I'm like, oh, what did that mean? But it's a phenomenal book.
Awesome. Yeah. No, her work is, I agree. And I am opposite of you. I really love those poetic kind of sentence. Like I'm like, ooh, I'm just going to dance through this book.
So our book study group is about half and half. We have half that love the poetic and half that are like, is this book over yet? So I'm a skimmer though. So I've learned to just skim and it works for me. So.
Good job.
So tell us, I guess, a little bit, we know what your website is. Tell us where else we can find you on social media, and also what kind of services that people can sign up for. Obviously, we know some of the groups and stuff, but.
Yeah. So I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm trying to do all the things, you know. If any of y'all are running businesses and stuff, like, I don't know why it feels so difficult, but I feel like this. What am I doing? How do I get that link in my bio? Like, what? And how do I get the music to work? Like, I feel so old and out of date. Like, I was like, geez, I took a year off and it's like the whole world exploded. So here I am trying to do reels. Thank God my 11-year-old is so techy because she helps me a lot, honestly.
That's awesome. I was going to say, Fiona is going to be your Brooke.
I know. I'm going to start conditioning her too. But I'm trying to do all the things, and on my website, like I said before, I don't really know absolutely how this is all gonna bleed together. I am going to be offering natal readings, natal chart readings. And that's your birth chart. That's where we see just like the snapshot in the sky, and you can get a little reading. It's usually about an hour long, and it covers a lot of things. And I think, I know for me, it was a really good start to really start to see myself, and not be so hard on myself on the things that were in my chart. That's just who I am, and stop fighting that part of me. And how do I embody that on a maybe higher road, right? The negative things that I had felt about myself. And I think that was just really empowering for my own personal experience. So natal chart readings, I'm still going to do a little bit of massage. I think that it's going to be a lot more energetic based and not so much of, I'm going to get my elbow in there and work that out. I mean, that still will probably happen, but I think it will just be a little bit more intentional. And I am still studying some of my herbalism stuff and my stone medicine. But those are all like earth practices that I hope to incorporate with the use of the natal chart being kind of a roadmap, and really reaching into what the soul wants, and being able to tune in to really things that we're ready to shed and allow us to really step into who we are and what we're supposed to do, what our journey is here. And there's a lot of my whole thing being gone for a year. All I could think about was that whatever it was that I was stepping into, I'm a bit of a people pleaser. So that was something for me of like, this isn't to please everyone. This is very specific, and it's like based around a lot of intention. That's how I'm trying to live my life, is with intention and being thoughtful about myself and about the people around me. And I want to create and hold that space for individuals in, in providing and supporting people that need it. Because I think that as we're kind of going through our own awakenings, things that are confusing, and we all need a little help sometimes, whether we can admit that or not. So
absolutely.
That's kind of the baseline. I think there's going to be a lot of things. I'm still going to be teaching some yoga. I still do the sound healing. I think it's just going to be a lot of things rolled up into something.
Absolutely.
And I think it will just be like individual based, like I can't say what it's going to look like because I haven't actually even got to watch it all get incorporated yet. But I'm very much looking forward to it. I think there's going to be a lot of magic. A lot of.
Well, I have no doubt in that because I know you. So
yeah. Thank you. You are too.
Thank you. Can you guys all see why I absolutely love her? She's amazing. Amazing. Yes, I agree with you, Steph. All this technology is so challenging. I mean, literally, every time I go on StreamYard to do my podcast here, I have a hard time remembering what to do with the microphone. Thank God I didn't have to call Brooke tonight, which I usually do.
Woo! Look at us go, Brooke.
She'll be proud of me this time. Well, I'm excited to see how things unfold. So for those that are interested in following you, the Facebook, the Instagram, are you on TikTok yet?
Not yet.
It's a love-hate relationship. People are either all in or all out, man.
I'm just figuring out the reels, like I'm just figuring that out on Instagram. So, like I'll work on it.
Yeah, I'm going to word this nicely so I don't get this filtered out of FB land. They're putting some restrictions on things, and here October 1st, we might not be able to do the things we could do before. So having options for our social media is super important. And Stephanie thinks TikTok is hard, but TikTok is actually really simple stuff. You basically create a video. You can alter it and edit it and then post it. You want to hashtag everything. And really, it's that simple. And once you have 1,000 followers, you can go live on their platform as well. And they have a little less restrictions with all the algorithms and BS that FB likes to put on us. So plus it's a whole generation of people. It's a lot of younger generation that are pretty open to the spiritual side of things and the new age, of course, the awakening and whatnot. So it's a good way for us to hit those younger people. Well, what else would you like to leave us with? Anything else you want to share with these guys? I was finishing up what I was saying though. They can find you on Facebook and Instagram and your website, and keep an eye out for her events, because really, you guys, you will absolutely love Ashley if you can attend an event in person, and maybe you and I will collaborate sometime.
I hope so. I've only been waiting my whole life to.
Well, part of my intention of meeting Kat is that maybe we could kind of put something together on there.
Perfect. Yeah.
I think.
Well, and I think like that moon circle, like I think that you coming in will be something that would be awesome too. You know, like that's the thing is that I might be hosting and kind of running it, but I'm trying to bring people in to be involved. So if you or anyone you know maybe wants to collaborate, I'm into it. Like
Fabulous.
let's work together.
Love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, is there anything I didn't cover? Everybody.
I don't think so. I mean, we talked about a lot of things.
We did.
So,
we did.
This has been fun though. It was this. I think it's nice that it was so. This was just like a nice conversation. Like we just sat down to have coffee, and I like that.
Yes.
I like that feeling.
I love this platform and the ease of it, and also the intimate feeling it provides. Everybody's always a little bit nervous, like, how's this going to go? I'm like, really, it's just pretty laid back. So super grateful to have you on tonight. Super grateful to have you as a friend, truly. And I look forward to talking to you soon. And if anybody has any questions on how to get a hold of Ashley or reach her, feel free to reach out to us, and we'll make sure to get you in touch with her. But Arise Astrology and Alchemy on Facebook, and ariseastrology.com is her website.
Yep. Beautiful. I hope to connect with some of you out there, and otherwise, you know, I'll be popping in and seeing you, and
absolutely,
we'll collab something. We'll do something.
I love it.
Stay tuned.
I love it. Well, thank you guys. Thanks for joining us for Soul Chats, and I hope you have a fabulous night.